Okay, good afternoon, everybody. It is 4:04 p.m., December 17th, 2025. And we're gonna go ahead and begin bargaining between Lake County Schools and LCEA. Hello, everyone, on the last week of the school year, but the first half of the year of 2025. So glad to be here. So I'm passing, planning sheet went around, right? And then the agenda's passing the agenda now. So go ahead and pass. Yeah. We're gonna go ahead and start by the agenda order, Article 9. So go ahead and pass Article 9. Grievance procedure. A lot of the articles that we're gonna talk about today, all of them pretty much, I'm just gonna touch base on what was pending, if that's okay with you, unless you want me to go through the whole entire. Okay, so. Well, okay, so on Article 9, there were two pending issues. So if you go to page 3, on page 3, I did discuss your request with our board attorney regarding language. And we do not accept that for monetary awards, the arbitrator will be requested to retain jurisdiction until the award is paid. He conveyed to me that he has seen, or it presents an issue with the arbitrator being with undefined limits on ruling. And then he has also seen that can present the issue of the money award can increase or decrease at any given time with the arbitrator holding that power. So he recommended and basically said to me, we don't recommend accepting that language. So I wanted to convey what he actually said to me. And the last piece is on page 6. We accept the language with the current edition language in blue text. And we accepted all your language. The only addition was on the board and the grievance should not be permitted to assert in such arbitration proceedings any ground or relied on any evidence not previously disclosed to the other party unless such party makes good faith efforts to immediately disclose such information to the other party. Both parties agree that the award of the arbitrator should be final and binding. And we do accept that. There was no issue with that as long as, okay? And that was it with this article since everything else we had already pretty much gone through it. Any questions? All right. Yes, go ahead and pass Article 10. And as I go through this one, if I miss something, let me know because I was going by my notes. We discussed and I went through the recording. I want to make sure that I got all what we agreed upon last conversation. So, Article 10, teaching conditions. And on section 1, the last sentence of the second paragraph, I believe we agreed on that one. Instructional employees assigned lunchroom and or other supervision duties will work with administration to determine an appropriate time for a duty-free lunch. Okay. The next note that I have is on page 3. And middle part where it's the word quarter, we had discussed putting I believe it was putting a slash after standards and putting standards / benchmarks within the designated time frame instead of quarter. So we agreed to remove quarter and change it for time frame. Okay. Next one that I have on this article is on page No, we already had agreed to dismiss that. Last page, page 14. I wanted to confirm it was 3, accepted 3. So I made sure that it said 3 instead of 2. I wrote the word 3 and accepted 3. Okay. Are we good with everything? Okay. 11. Go ahead and pass 11. Ooh, we're moving through this fast. Everybody has a copy? Okay. On the first part, section 1, I believe we accepted the language monthly, but no less than quarterly. That's what I have on my notes. I wanted to make sure that it was green. The next thing that I had was, I believe we missed it, or keeping the same language on part C, start and end times. And on page 2, it was not green before, it was blue. I wanted to make sure that we were accepting to keep it that way. That's all I had in my notes. I didn't have anything else unless you have something different. We had agreed not to put start and end time, but then I had forgot to make green on our conversation, that bottom piece. Page 3. Accept, basically we just turned green what we had discussed in the prior meeting. Please review and let me know if there's anything different there on section E. Okay. Page 4. And we accepted the language pre-planning schedules will include the amount of individual self-directed planning time and lunchtime each day. We had discussed that last time, so we are accepting that. And moving page 5. And I discussed this with Mr. Farnsworth. At this time, we are not accepting the portion in red, such as athletic ticket taking. Instructional staff will be given the opportunity to offer ticket taking duties at athletic or fundraising events with compensation of $20 per hour. And that was discussed during our executive session. Board concentrated on compensation, so we were not accepting this at this time, but it's something that we're still going to be reviewing for future discussion. I just reworded something you requested or was brought up by LCA was training for handling money. So I'll just redid that sentence, and I was hoping that it was okay. Any instructional employee required to collect money and manage funds will receive training and support to handle money per Article 10, Section 10 of the contract.
And tickets, because what is this, that handle money and tickets, because they do a lot of training on handling money, but when you do sporting events and ticketing, that training is a little different than doing money for everything else.
So okay, I don't see an issue with that. I just wanted to make sure that Article 10, Section 10 doesn't mention anything about tickets, so I will have to handle money per Article 10. to handle money per Article 10, Section 10 of the contract, and should I add another sentence or any interpreter required to collect money and manage funds will receive training and support to handle tickets?
That, doing a special event that they are training for that specific event. For ticketing.
It's
Then
different.
Then we could just refer to section 10, article 10 all the time and not have to add it in. Since that's specific to money collection.
Could you put like money, comma, handle tickets and manage funds?
Money, comma, handle tickets, and well, I can do that. That sounds, okay, so let me reread that. Any instructional employee required to collect money, comma, handle tickets, and manage funds will receive training and support to handle money per Article 10. That will be, we make a note of that because I'm changing it on the master. We're okay with that. We're okay with that.
It's not compensating the teachers for the tickets. The only thing I would like to say is I think you guys need to start working on trying to find other ways to do that. Whether it's posters, parent volunteers, maybe make it a part of the requirement that if the parents have to, work maybe an hour at a game or something, one time during the season.
We discussed that, and that's when I said that's something that we're gonna start looking at it carefully to see what other ways we can provide that support. It's just, it's at this time, we cannot accept that, so. But it was an extensive discussion regarding that. Page 6. Our original thought was to keep the planning period section as before with minor changes. And so therefore we do not accept the student supervision. We did accept adding the third or fourth planning period in a week that requires the employee will get paid. That was the intent, even with the word third only, so that that was something that I had questioned. How come we didn't have the word fourth there? So we accepted that. When you go from page 6 to page 7 in that section with planning, we had discussed accepting on B within 2 work weeks or at a mutual agreed upon time if a second planning period is required in a week. And we did not accept D and kept our original language that we have below D. That's the main thing in that section.
So I have a question. What was can you remind me what the issue was with accepting student supervision for planning plans during the planning plans?
That is something that when Rob and I were talking about it, we wanted to discuss to look at where that's happening, see at schools if that's really happening, just having student supervision, picking up planning and how it's being used before we even go adding it to the contract. It's not, we just wanted, our intent was to keep that language at this time the same. So I wish Mr. Fellner was planning on, but he had something to attend to discuss it further.
I guess what I don't understand is for student supervision during planning, what would they have to do student supervision for during planning that wouldn't be covered under this? Testing, we have already a provision in the joint advisory committee or leadership, whatever it's called, joint leadership committee, for testing. So what other type of student supervision are you guys worried about that wouldn't be covered, for this? That would cause an issue, let me put it that way. For us to keep it in there.
I wish I mean, I'll ask my principal, so you'd see. When you look at page 6, collaborative planning, other group meetings, student supervision, and provisions of a sub-coverage may be scheduled as follows.
But no, but do you guys do that? You guys don't change your schedule when you do that, so that your teachers have all, you're on a Wednesday schedule, so it's not even during their planning.
Right, so we still get them.
Right.
No, I haven't.
I will need to go back in detail and research that with Mr. Fellner and figure out where is this happening that you're requesting to add it into the contract.
I guess the expectation is that you're supposed to be able to have that planning time to do what they need to get done for their students, for their class time. Then why is there even a question on whether it's happening or not? Because they shouldn't be supervising students during their planning time.
So why add it? I can vice versa say this.
Providing their kids during training.
Well, I know at my school, we do field day, and so it's a half day thing, but they don't actually get planning here on field day. It's their day with the kids, because they have to be with the kids, supervise them out on the field while we're having all the activities. So I know those, it's only one day per whatever, but that's an instance where they don't get planning that day.
So do they get the Wednesday off or something?
I
So then that
give
would-
them release time, something
But
like that.
that makes up for, that's what this is saying. So that's why I don't understand, that's why we were putting that in there to make it so that the only reason I could see is testing, but we have something else already in here for testing. So what can we do to protect our teachers' times so that they know if they're being called for student supervision during their planning, they're supposed to be getting that time back somehow. And
Well-
testing is a separate thing because we already have something in
Correct.
testing.
I'm just trying to understand it. That is happening. Why are they not getting their time back so that where is this happening that I can address it? That's the part that if I'm pulling teachers from their planning time to do student supervision and we're not giving them time back, please tell me where.
But so then again, if it's the standard, the expectation for them not to do that, or if they do pull them, give them the time back. What's the problem with codifying it in the contract? That's what I'm asking. That's the part I don't understand.
Like trying to prove it, very hard to do. One thing I can think of is, if you recall, like the sub-contract.
Well, some staff are separately, correct?
No,
But like some people, I'm being told that there are some schools that do pep rallies and they don't do a Wednesday schedule, so they lose their planning time. For some teachers.
But do they get time back?
like they try to rotate, but you're not always going to that reason on the staff. You know, they work with, like, sometimes you'll have to do long certain periods of time.
They change the planning times, that's the only way to do it.
I will need to find out more information where this is happening for me to. Okay. page 7. And we did not accept D, but we kept the same language below D. Page 7 towards the bottom, we just made green. We accepted schools will have times for intervention, like we changed some of the language there that you had requested. And page 8. We had discussion about that sentence, instructional employees with more than 3 preps will be given rationale for the assignments. That's all cross. We just don't accept in writing. So they will be given a rationale, whether it's meeting, whether if the administrator chooses to do it in writing, that's up to them, but they will be given rationale. It will be communicated to them. So we accepted that language. And I believe that was it on Article 11. Gonna have to call. Pass Article 17. Oh, this article doesn't have the page numbers. I apologize. And this article is on the page before last. That's the only section that there was the discussion that we had. And we rewrote the sentence and added a second sentence to it. If in the cases where schools are for section 5, redistribution of instructional employees due to the opening, closing, or redistricting of schools, if redistribution occurs, all affected instructional employees should receive written notice of reappointment status 5 business days before the transfer period. We added any special postings would remain open until the Friday before transfer period. This would allow the employee to not only apply for the special board posting, but also be ready to apply for the transfer period. So that, I believe, makes they would all have plenty of time to make a decision. Okay. And now pass Article 18. Okay. Article 18, it's basically section 17, bereavement leave, the last page. So I'm gonna convey a message from the board and regarding this section, and I'll talk about it a little bit. And we are accepting stepfather, stepmother, and stepchild like originally you had proposed, okay? And the board wants to honor these relationships. The board affirms that every employee deserves care and support during life's most difficult moments. They understand, and they wanted to make sure that I communicated to LCEA, we heard you. We value family in all its forms and stands with our employees when they need us the most, okay? They want me to convey that. So with that said, there was discussion of, obviously, they asked the question, how much cost can this potentially bring to the district? It's hard for me to say. We don't have data that can actually tell me that information. So we will be looking at procedures and collecting that information so we can make better adjustments or decisions in the future. The only thing is, extensive research was done as to how other public sector or even family law, or how they propose when you accept step families in lieu of different relationships. What I found is that you look at the two blue sentences towards the end. If a stepfather and stepmother are defined as the spouse of the employee's biological or legally adopted parent through a lawful marriage. Stepchild is defined as the biological or legally adopted child of the employee's spouse through a lawful marriage. I do understand that in some cases, you might have a step parent that may have gotten a divorce. They're no longer part of, but if there was an established marriage, obviously that's something that we would accept because that parent was a legal parent at the time, okay? So our purpose is, we understand the purpose of step parents. It's just, I am not sure if you have done research on it, but it's very interesting how it's being interpreted across different, whether it's private sector or public sector. And what I did find common was that on domestic partnerships, regardless of gender, men and women, women, men, regardless of the combination, typically they don't health benefits, they don't get it. Same applies for bereavement. That I did find in common in all areas. So hopefully this is something that would meet your proposal. Okay. That's Article 18. That's the only change I had in that article, accepting stepchild, stepfather. Appendix D. Actually, pass both of them. Appendix D and compensation. I will talk about both of them at the same time because it all deals with pay. I'm going to pass both of them, Appendix D and compensation. I'll start with Appendix D, and then I'll finish with compensation. Just to make sure that I'm following on this, on Appendix D, I did accept moving the section. I believe you had requested to move it to a different part of the appendix. So that first portion where it talks about all grade level department chairpersons, team leaders. So I just made a note of that. Moving towards team expert, I believe we had discussed accepting team expert will be provided at district departments with more than 20 instructional employees. I accepted that. That's on page 2 towards the bottom. Moving to, we accepted the language for site-based mentor on page 4 regarding the change of 2 hours per month. Meetings will occur at a mutually agreed upon time. And then the word in that same sentence, after that underlined sentence, we had a discussion. Meetings, instead of having the word must, would include the word may. Include both in classroom support and on one-on-one conferences. Everything else we have already discussed in that section. Then on page 5, that's where we move part of what was in page 1 into that portion. The only part that's left is the last two pages, page 8 and 9. At this time, we do not accept ESC specialists or high school testing coordinator receiving pay. And I will say this, the board concentrated compensation on concentrated all compensation on accepting the leave and accepting the leave changes and accepting your compensation proposal. So if you look at compensation, we are agreeing to the $600. So basically that puts green the whole entire document. So as far as compensation, the board is agreeing to the increase for effective.
And then you support those, how they can support the ESG specialists and testing coordinators with the time rounds.
Right. And one of the things that I was looking at is budgets of substitutes, how they're doing so that they can call in more substitutes and use more of that budget. I'm in works with Mr. Fellner because he's aware of what I'm doing, and that's part of it. Being able to tell a school, go ahead and call more subs in, even if you don't have teachers calling in, because if you can have them provide support, provide that support to your school. That's officially, I can say that because I've been analyzing what's going on. And that's one way we're trying to figure out. Part of it is also hiring more substitutes, which is sometimes you put in to call for a sub and it's getting them to accept the job. They're very picky. So. One last piece, the MOU. What I'm going to give you is two MOUs. It's the same MOU. One has all the changes so that you can see what we accepted and took off. The other one is the clean version for signature. Mr. Fellner asked me because he was trying to see if he can start that program immediately, communicating with teachers in January. So he wanted to make sure that if we have an agreement on that MOU. If you look at it, we agreed to remove the red, obviously. Until available funds designated to the school peer, we're removing that language. We accepted all language changes, including on page 2, the bullet point about discussing this portion of the MOU supersedes the current time requirement in Appendix D. I added that back to the MOU. We took out the word throughout the year and accept the language from the date of the email approval notification. If you're in agreement, then you have a clean copy with all those changes in the document.
Like the one we're signing.
That's the one with the clean copy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one we're signing. Well, 17. Keep that copy. Okay. Yeah, say that signed. Now that we have that MOU signed, I will communicate that with Mr. Fellner and they'll start that process. I'll have Dr. Scott start communicating with schools. It's there, it's everything, okay.
Just make sure, guys, that these, we're going to do, we have a tentative agreement for 4, 12, Appendix D, and the salary placement schedule, correct?
I believe we had discussed, yeah, I think we were fine because the salary schedule had not changed. We made the change on advanced degree, not aligned. Correct. Right? That is states up at the bottom.
Yeah.
Yes. 412C and salary placement, right? Yes, yes, let me go ahead and state that. Okay, it is 4:40 PM. We're gonna caucus for
Um,
15 to 20 minutes. Okay, it is 4:56 and we're returning back from caucus. Well,
right, so with that language of the supervision, I just want to make sure that we are mutually understanding that the planning time should be protected, and if if an educator is being asked to do student supervision, that they should be getting that time back, correct?
I agree. I would like for also for there's an understanding that if you foresee issues happening at a school, please communicate with me so that I can assist at what's going on. All we want is make sure that we do what's right. That's all.
And one more thing about the ESE, committee, I just wanted to say that, thank you, we have I have a meeting with the superintendent set up for us to do that.
Great.
So what are we doing?
Can I hear that again? Please tell me are we in agreement? All right, let's bring the champagne and pass the cups and sorry, excuse me, pause.
Um, one is, we all know that it's not enough for our educators for the amount of money that's been given, but under the budget, we appreciate that the board stepped up to give us, more. And so we appreciate that, and we also, would like to acknowledge that the board is taking positive movements to look at other ways to help, get more money into educators' hands too, so.
The board has always said to me, when we discuss Monday, they will always give more to teachers when they have it. We are going into some interesting times moving forward, specifically with how legislature's happening, and it's concerning. You know, I've updated you on enrollment, and we're seeing it. We're trying to battle scholarships. It's hard, and then we're also battling charter schools opening. So it's interesting. I even myself was reading the news that they said K-12 opening up in Apopka area by Sorrento. So they're putting plans to build a K-12 school. So it's Orange County side, but you all seen what Orange County is dealing with, closing schools, rezoning. We're not there yet, but we don't want to ever get there. And we're trying our best to keep everybody with their job. So it's hard. And when we have it, we will give it, but we also have to be responsible. So, but I'm super happy and proud that we're here. So thank you. I thank all of you. It's great. And tell Elizabeth that I wish she was here.
She can hear it. Okay.
She can hear me? Elizabeth, thank you. You know, I wish you were here.
Thank you, I appreciate all the district support. I really appreciate you all the love and support and everything you've done. I know this has been a very difficult bargaining season, I think for all of us. So I'm grateful to both sides and all the work that has been put in. So thank you all. Appreciate you.
I appreciate it.
Like a celebrity when you're all fixed.
Well, thank you. And we're looking forward to seeing you in a new year. So. Well, to everybody, have a great holiday. Happy New Year, and we'll see you in 2026. Oh, before I wanted to sign out, if we're in agreement, that's the part that I needed to discuss a couple of points. And obviously you have to move to ratify the contract. If you are okay, we have a board meeting on the 12th or a board meeting on the 26th. The only thing that I'm asking is that you and I are, like, we are in agreement that any article that we have not touched, that we agreed to change the Roman numeral to a number for the article. The other part, if I find in any article the word teacher, to change it to instructional employee, and we can work together on that for agreement. And then if we found that, I believe on the definitions, we had the pronoun he to refer to teacher. If I find any, that we will change it to instructional employee. If we're in that agreement, obviously I will not change anything without your approval. And if principal or supervisor to administrator. If you are okay with that, then I'll start working, obviously over the break. I'm gonna try not to, but I'm gonna work hard to do all the edits that we can sit. In the past. Typically, Elizabeth used to sit with us to go over the whole document. And obviously you'll start the process and the messaging for this, and then I'll try to get a clean copy for you. And if you are okay, I will work with you you agree which board meeting you want me to at least put the contract in for board approval pending ratification. Okay, so
Because of when our next, Stewart meeting is, it would be the last Wednesday of July, January. Because the 27th, we have, rep meeting, that's when we get all the materials for reps, to be able to vote, for them to vote the next day. So, I guess the 12th would be the one that we'd have to have it approved by the board, so that we have time to gather everything for our reps.
So if I put the contract on the 12th, pending ratification, when you ratify, I'll be able to start moving forward to giving money immediately. I will say out loud for everybody to hear, I will be able to disburse the bonus faster than the retro of the TSIA. So my goal will be to get the largest amount of money first, and then the other one that goes retro and forward following that, okay? Okay. Now, I don't,
You want us to, the afternoon?
that'd be fine, yeah. What's my? Yes, that'd be great. Let me just look at my calendar, make sure that I don't have. Pull my calendar.
That was just.
Okay.
We're good on the 5th, and I have a Zoom meeting at 10. And what's the afternoon like on the 5th? I'm open all afternoon, so that's anytime after 12, it's great. 1 o'clock will be fine. Put a meeting in for 1, and then I'll bring everything that I get to do over the break, because
You want here?
I have the big screens here. Would you want to come here, or you rather me come to you? I'd rather you come here, because I can connect both screens here, and we can work together on the large screens. Make sure we set the room, please, for me. And then one little note that I know that we had extensive discussion on Article 2 and 25. We never greened those 2 articles, but we have basically kept them the same. I just want to make sure, just review them. I believe we're in agreement. And I went back and looked at all the notes, and I couldn't see anything, but I needed to at least bring it up. Okay. Okay, so we're in agreement. So then
We'll reapproach that again. We open the book again.
correct. That's perfectly understandable. With that said, now I can officially say, anybody has any other comments? All right. Bargaining, it's over today. It's 5:06 p.m. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.